Welcome to this video series of interviews from different companies, and in all these series we are discussing about the interviews and the process which are either cracked by me or somebody else who wants to stay anonymous. But there is enough proof gathered that this interview is genuine, which I'll show you in this video also. And also there is a note that all the answers discussed here are mostly correct, and I will explain both the perspectives, like what is the actual answer given by the interviewee and what is the most correct answer if that is not correct. And also, if you found that there is another most closest answer to what is discussed in this video, you can mention it in your comment section and I will take it from there and update in the description section so that everybody else who watches the video, they'll know the updated and correct answers than what is discussed in this video. This interview is for a company called Mindtree, and the interview process goes as this. It consists of three rounds: first round being technical, second round managerial, and third round being HR discussion. And you can see the invite that the candidate got for this interview, and the skill for this interview they are looking for is automation using Selenium with Java, and API automation using any of the tools. And the API automation is something could be for REST APIs or so web services. There is no particular tool they are looking for, any tool, but automation done for both API and also web automation. And she got the invite as below. You see that. And this is for the first round, which is technical, and this is a face-to-face interview. So both the first round and second round are face-to-face that happened on the same day. Here we will discuss the technical round, and in the other video we'll discuss the managerial round plus HR round together. Now let's move on to the question and answer. This is the technical round and it went for 40 minutes and it has 11 questions which we are going to discuss now. Now let's see the first question. The first question is, as usual, like the interviewer has explained briefly about himself and he asked me, tell me about yourself. And I leave this question to you for your self-explanation, and I may make another video just for questions of like this, which are discussed based on the experience and how to answer them. That's going to be a separate video. I'm not going to discuss it now. And the second question is about how to handle alerts in Selenium. Okay, so we have this method called alerts to handle the alerts in Selenium, and we have to switch to alerts. Switch to is another method which will let you to switch to alert, switch to a window, or switch to the frame. So similarly, we are switching to alerts. So we can switch to alert, and alert class has again different methods. So with the help of, if we wanted to accept the alert, you call to accept method which will accept the alert, and if you want to dismiss the alert, you can dismiss it. It's not decline. Uh, as per the interviewer, she has explained it as decline by mistake, but it is dismiss if you wanted to discard the alert. And there is send keys method also, which will let you to send some text to the alert. So there could be some alerts, which will ask you to enter certain information and then click on OK button. So there you can call this method send keys and send some text into that alert box. And for example, if there are different alerts which you are expecting and you wanted to handle that particular alert, then what you do is you have this get text method which will capture the alert message, and if that alert message is matching with what you are looking for, then you can handle the alert accordingly. If there is a particular message, then you wanted to accept that alert, then with the help of get text property you will asset the text and then you will accept it. If you see a different kind of message, then you may need to dismiss it. So then based on the message which you get from get text method, you can dismiss that alert. So that is what all about alerts and how do you handle them. And by the way, alerts is an interface in Selenium. Okay. That's all about the second question. Now let's move on to third question. The third question is about finding bigger and second bigger number in a given array and write a Java code for it. So interview has given paper to write this code, and this is how I have explained. There are many ways to do this, but in that particular time, this is the logic that occurred to the mind, and this is what it looks like. We'll see the demo also, but first let's see the logic that occurred to the interview mind. So there is an array given below, and this is not in a particular order. Okay, so what happens is there is a another integer called big, which is storing the big number each time, and there is a counter which will do increment. So if you just think of how to find a big number, what you normally do is you will see all the numbers, and you know that 78 is big because you know the value of 78. That's how you will decide. But computer doesn't cannot do a visual inspection. What it has to do is it has to work on a logic. So the logic goes as this. It will assume that 10 is the big number, and it will compare 10 against all the other numbers. So when it is comparing, it is making a counter. Okay, and the counter will increase each time. So ideally, you know that 78 is the big number, and when you are doing this logic, what will happen is, uh, for example, if you take 78 being the big number, you will check with 10. Between 10 and 78, 78 is the big number. Counter is increased to 1. Similarly, 16, 78, 78 is the bigger numbers. Counter is increased to 2. So finally, how you come to a conclusion that 78 is a bigger number is when the counter reaches to a stage where it counts all, where it does comparison with all the other numbers. So in short, if the counter has reached the length of the array minus 1, then you say that that is the bigger number. But if it is not reaching that much length of the counter, then it is not the bigger number. That's how the logic works. For example, firstly, take 10 as a big number. 10 is compared with 16, so it will fail. The counter will not move further. So the counter hasn't reached the enough length so that it done comparison with all the other elements. So 10 is not the bigger number. That's how computer will understand. And then again, it will take 16. Then 16 is compared with 10. So counter is increased to 1 because since 16 is big, 16 is compared with 8, and in this case also 16 is bigger, counter is increased to 2, and 16 is compared to 25, then it failed, then counter will not be increased further. Since the counter is 2 and the counter is less than the size of the array minus 1, then this is not the bigger number. That is how that it is decided. Then again, third number will be stored in big, and big will be compared against 10, 16, like that. So this logic continues till the counter matches the entire length of the array. So that is when you will find the bigger number. But in your case, if you wanted to find second bigger number, then the counter has to move till that length, which is equal to array length minus 1. So to find the bigger number, we have to traverse all the array. To find the second bigger number, we have to traverse those many numbers which are one number less than the size of the length. One number or two numbers based on how you initialize the counter and how do you take the array length. So that's the logic, and let us see the demo for this. I have written small code in Eclipse. Let us discuss that one. Okay, so this is the Mindtree package which I am maintaining for all the Mindtree technical questions, and there I have created a class called big number. Inside this I have created a method my answer, which will do it. And let me go to the main statement and explain it. So this is the array, a sample array which I took to find the second big number, and I call the class, I have created an object for the class big number. There I am calling my answer method and passing the argument, which is an array, and which will return the second bigger number from my method. All right. So this is the logic like I explained in the PPT. So this is the logic. So I have taken two loops, one for loop and one while loop. This inner loop is basically to traverse through the array each time. So it will traverse the entire array for each external for loop. Okay, and when it is traversing, it is doing the comparison like whatever it got from the outer loop, which is a big number which is assumed from each time. This big number is compared against the entire array each time, and each time it will do a comparison whether the bigger number which I have taken is bigger or not with the second element, with the third element and fourth element by an iterator with the while condition. And inside it, there we are increasing the counter, and which is matched against the input length each time. So once there is a match, it will break the loop and come out of the while loop. And once it is out of the while loop, there is another condition in the for loop. So when each time in the for loop, it will match the condition has met or not. Once the condition has met, it will print that that is the second bigger number and comes out of the loop. And the condition is that it is matching the counter against the length of the array -1 to get the second bigger number. If you wanted to get the bigger number, you have to remove the -1 over here. So now let me run this logic quickly and see the result. So the result is second bigger number is 25. So correct. 10, 16. So bigger number is 78. Second bigger number is 25, which is correct. Okay. So that's about this logic. And now, like I said, there are many other ways, right? So let me explain the other ways. So for that moment, this is the logic that come to my mind. And if you wanted to print just the bigger number, then you have to remove this -1 and run this. It should return 78, I guess. Yeah, 78. So 78 is the bigger number. And if you give -1, then it will give the second bigger number. That's the logic, but you can't keep changing, right? The length for each time. So the simplest way is to sort the array. So once you sort the array, the last element is the bigger number, last but one is going to be the second bigger number. If you assert in, I mean, if you sort it in ascending order, then it's different. If you sort it in descending order, that's different. That is second type of logic. For that, I have created a method using sort. So this will return the sorted array, and which is like this. So once I get the sorted array, the last element is giving me the bigger number, and the last one but one is going to be the second bigger number. So that is one method. There is another method which we use in our college days, which is using the swap method. So for that, there is another method which I have written. So what it is doing is like there is a comparison. There is a similar comparison, but this is not flexible way what I have answered. But the most flexible way is using swap. Using swap, what it will do is first it will sort the array. So without using the sort method, and if you are asked to write a logic, this is the better logic than the first logic. So the first logic aims only to find out a particular number bigger or second bigger, but with this logic without using sort, you are sorting it out, then you can find whichever number you want. Now let's see the logic. So there is a outer loop, same as in the previous logic. There is an inner loop. What this inner loop is doing is it is doing the comparison and swapping each time. So to explain this better, so this is the array. So what it is doing is it is doing the comparison between 10 and 16. So whichever is the bigger, it is swapping it to the left side. So 16 will come here, 10 will come here. Next time it will check 10, 8. which is the bigger number. 10 is 8, so it will keep the bigger number left side always, so it will not swap. Now it will compare between 8 and 25. So between 8 and 25, 25 is bigger, then 25 will come left side and 8 will go right side. So between 8 and 7, so 8 is bigger, so it will stay left side. Between 7 and 78, 78 is bigger, then it will swap 78, 78 will come to the second, uh, I mean, uh, come to the left side. So like this, in one loop, in one inner loop, it will do these many switches. Now again, there is another loop, another run. Again, it will do the same comparison. Similarly, till 78 comes to the leftmost part, and 25 come to the second most bigger number spot, then it will continue till the array is sorted out. So you can do ascending order or descending order based on the logic, which will swap to the left side or which will swap to the right side. So that's up to you. So this is the swap method. It is swapping. So when there is a match, it will not do anything. When there is no match, it will swap. So that's the logic. Finally, you will get a sorted array. Then again, you can print whichever you wanted to print. So now let me run this quickly. Okay. So with my answer, my method, this is the second biggest number. Okay. I have to change it to -1. That's of course fine. So with the sort order, biggest number is 78 and second biggest number is 25, which is correct. And again, I have sorted using the swap technique. Then the array is printed like this. So the array is printed in a descending order, which is 78 again. So from the descending order, you can print first big number and second big number the same way how you have printed over here. So this is all about this particular question. Now let's move on to the second question. Sorry, the fourth question. The fourth question is about write a code on how to handle multiple windows in Selenium. So this is the same question which we have discussed in WellsFargo interview as well. So I'm not explaining the working demo over here because it is going to take time. Refer to WellsFargo video for a working demo. And the solution goes as this. It is like we have get window handles method, which will return the uh, all the windows, and the return method is set string. So it is returning a set of strings which are for all the windows which are open in that particular instance. So the parent window handle is captured with the method get window handle, not handles. So that is what it will capture the parent window. Now I have taken a help of for each loop and I have iterated through the set string, and wherever it is matching with the parent window, I'm ignoring it. Wherever it is not matching, I'm switching to the child window. So I'm printing the windows also, the child window title. So likewise, you can print however windows are, how many our windows are open. You can print the titles of all the windows. So that's the logic. Mm, I'm not going to show the working demo. You can refer to WellsFargo video. And let's move on to the fifth question. The fifth question is about do you know about collections in Java? So the answer goes as this. Collections is first, it is like what is the collection framework? So collections is in Java is a framework that will let you store and manipulate the group of objects. And these objects could be anything, like this object could be a data type of strings, data type of uh, integers, and it could be of type object. So it's a collect, it could be a group of objects, a group of integers, group of strings, it could be group of combinations also sometimes, which we'll see. So that is what collections is all about. It is grouping mechanism. And why we are doing grouping? So we have arrays of type integer, we have arrays of type string, but why we need collections framework in addition when we have that mechanism. So there is a advantage when you are handling those objects with the help of collection framework, and the advantages goes like this. So you can do like search operations, you can do sorting, insertion, manipulation, and deletion. So all of these are not possible. Some of them are possible, but all of these are not possible with the traditional way of handling the objects. But with the help of collections, you can achieve all of them in a simple manner. And for example, if you wanted to delete some element in an array, it is not possible in a traditional array way. It's going to be possible with a complex code, but just calling the delete method through the collection framework, you can just delete the object or the number or the string from the array or list wherever it is. So that is how it is simplified with the help of collections. So collection framework provides many interfaces like set, list, queue, and dequeue, and it has classes, access to classes like array list, vector, linked list, and so on. So you can read more about this in detail uh, over 4webstyles.blogspot.com, which is shown down below. So now let's move on to the sixth question. Sixth question is about have you used Groovy scripting? Then I said yes. Then I got the seventh question. So whenever you get some questions like have you used something, which when you answered it, and when you get a next question, mostly it is related to that one. So here, what is XML holder related to SOAP testing? This is related to SOAP testing. So what is XML holder is my question, and this is a Groovy class, which will let you to do certain things, and this goes as this. So first, when we have to talk about XML holder, we have to talk about another variable called context variable. So what does context variable do is, uh, again within context variable we have a method called expand method. So the expand method will give you access to the request and response of response XML. Okay, so through this method you get access to the request and response method, but further if you wanted to access a particular node of a request or response, then you need the XML holder object. Okay, so to simply say that if you wanted to pass or get a tag value in a request or response XML, you can achieve it through the XML holder. All right. So this is a class in Groovy API which is used to pass request and response XML. Now let's see a demo for this. Okay. Uh, we have this particular test step which is written in a Groovy. I'm not going to explain everything, but I am going to explain from the point of view that what is the XML holder. Okay, so like I said, to understand about XML holder, first we have to understand context. So I'm taking an example of add request. I have disabled it now, but fine. So this is the add request which is taking integer A, integer B, and when you run it, it is giving you a result of sum of integer A and 2. So integer A is a variable which will be defined in the properties. So here in this Groovy script, what I have done is I have get the property value of integer A, and what is integer A uh, from this request. So I'll get that it will return me 10 value. Then I have integer B which is 25. So that is all about it. And I have used this context variable and I call the method expand, and there I have called this stub add request. All right, then I stored it in this variable called request. Now I got this request variable and I want to pass this. I'm passing it with the help of XML holder class. So it take request as an input and it is parsing the request. So once it passed the request, I have taken the past request into request variable, and through the past request I'm able to control different nodes. I'm controlling the node called integer A in this request. So this is the node called integer A, this is the node called integer B. I'm capturing those values. So I'm capturing integer b value and integer a value with the help of the passed request, which is request variable, and this is passed using XML holder. So that's the functionality of XML holder. It is to parse the request or response. Now this is the run result. So let me run it again in front of you. So this is run now. Let us just ignore this one. So you can see it. It has printed the property value as 1025. That's not what we are looking. See, it has printed integer a is 10. So integer a is 10. It has printed the integer b value. Integer b value is 2. Similarly, it has printed the sum value. Okay, where is sum? Okay, it is somewhere over here, but the point is XML holder is used to parse the request and response. So that's what it is about, and this is the demo. Now let's move on to the eighth question. Eighth question is about difference between SOAP and REST APIs or web services. So there are quite a lot of differences, but the main differences are like SOAP is an API, whereas REST is architecture oriented. So when a web service follows the principles of REST architecture, then it is called as REST web service. And when the web service follows the SOAP protocol, when it has handled through the SOAP protocol, then this API sub web service is referred as SOAP web service. And SOAP web services are built through XMLs, whereas REST web services are built through various wide other technologies, like it can be built with a JSON format, it can be built in as a text, likewise. So that is one more difference. SOAP web service operates on SOAP protocol, whereas REST web services operates on, again, HTTP protocol and so on. Of course, SOAP API has underlying HTTP protocol. That is a different story. So these are, some differences. To read on more about this, I'm not explaining everything here because this is going to take longer. You can visit this blog, 4webstyles.blogspot.com. There I'm keeping more about this question, so you can refer there. Now let's move on to the ninth question. So the ninth question is whether I have used the REST assured tool or not. So the interview she hasn't used REST assured tool. So she said, okay, I have to say as if I have done it, right? So I didn't use it is the answer. So the interview didn't uh, ask any more further questions on that particular tool. Now let's go to the 10th question. 10th question is about the series of errors which I have gone through the APIs, and the answer goes as this. Basically, uh, there are many different errors. So I have answered this way initially. I say that if it is success responses, it will follow the 200 sequence, and if it is a 300 sequence, it is talking about URL redirections, and if the messages are of 400 sequence, they talk about client side errors. If the errors fall into 500 sequence, mostly they are referring to the server side errors. And I have explained few examples which I have faced, 200 being OK message or success response, 201 being again a success response, but it refers to as an entry being created in a database or a new resource is created. So it could be anything. And 400 being the bad request from the client side. If there is the structure of the request itself is not proper, then it will say that it is a bad request. Uh, and there are other more series of arrays in 400, but all refers to the same. Errors can be like malformed request syntax. Error could be the invalid request as per the client standards. It is deceptive request routing, so it could be anything. So 404 is another example in 400 series, which means that the resource is not found with that format, and 500 being the internal server errors, and this could be anything which developer will not will not prefer normally to choose the correct descriptions. Okay, and let's move on to the final question, which is different exception handlings. Mm, and the explanation goes as this. How do you handle the exception means with the help of try catch blocks mostly. When there is an exception, what are basically exceptions are for is in order to not interrupt the flow of the test case or the flow of the automation. It will let the automation to continue to execute the other statements without breaking the code at that particular point in time when such particular exception occurs. So when an exception occurs, normally the code will break. So you don't want the code to be broken. If you want to continue it, you have to handle the exception. So in that case, how do you handle the exception is with the help of try catch block. So you will try to do certain operation, and when an exception occurs, the control will go to the catch block, and there the catch block will have another logic to handle the exception without breaking the code. Then it will continue further by executing the next set of steps in the automation. So the interviewer has further asked, when I said try catch blocks, are there any other exceptions? Then I explained about throws exception, which will be declared in the signature method, so that the programmer knows that there is this sort of exception that is going to come, and he has to handle it either by the throw keyword or by the help of try catch blocks. And the compiler normally will suggest these exceptions which you can declare in the signature method. That is another way of another exceptions. And this is explained clearly in 4verstyles.blogspot.com. You can visit that blog where you will find not just these interview question and answers. You'll also find all the other interview question and answers, and all the other videos also about the mm, automation work what I'm doing now. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching this video. Please do subscribe, and please share this, like it, and comment it. So comments are most important things, that if you have a different perspective and most relevant answer, you can comment it, and I will keep it in the description so that other viewers will follow this. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please like it and share it to your friends. Also, if you wanted to see more content like this, please do subscribe to this channel, and also spread the word to your friends. And if you miss any of the videos, you can refer to this channel, and also you can refer to this blog which is given below, which is forwardstyles.blogspot.com. And also, if you wanted to contribute your knowledge through wider audience, you can join us by writing it to this given email, which is sharetesttube@gmail.com. And also, if you have any doubts on any of the videos, again, you can write to us over sharetesttube@gmail.com. Thank you for watching this video.